Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? The time is now. We finally got our Dynasty deep dive into the brand new College Football 25. Let's get into it. For everybody that's going to be doing an online Dynasty, you can have up to 32 users in one league. And whether it's a normal Dynasty or an online Dynasty, you can go up to 30 years. And as you guys all know, the 12-team playoff is in this year's game. However, the only reason I really bring it up for you, from my understanding, is you are not able to customize the 12-team playoff. So just an important piece of information for you guys to know before you get started. Let's go ahead and jump into some recruiting. One of the most important features when it comes to Dynasty mode is setting up your recruiting board. And in this game, EA has really paid attention to a lot of the small details that goes in to landing a recruit. When you go to the recruiting board, you're going to be able to see all the positions of need on your roster and where you need to spend more of your resources, which in this case, you are going to be getting 50 hours of recruiting time each week. So it's going to be on you to delegate that and spend more time with others based on whatever position you need. Now, there are going to be over 3,500 kids to recruit from in this game. And on the board, it shows you if they're in the top 10, if they're already committed, where they're from, and if they're in a blue chip area, such as South Florida, or if they're in a hot part of Texas. Seemingly, a lot of effort is going to have to go in to recruiting when it comes to what guys you can realistically land. Now, a recruit's interest in your school is going to be determined by 14 different pitch grades, whether it's proximity to home, pro potential, there's playing time, and even brand exposure. You know, how often are you playing on those primetime games? So not only are you going to be scouting these recruits, you also have to line up their motivations and their grades and make sure that it's a good fit. The last thing you want to do is spend a bunch of time on a kid that in the end you're not even going to get anyways. Now, that is realistic, obviously, but you know. And ladies and gentlemen, on this screen too, under actions, there's DM a player, which is, I'm assuming, 10 minutes. Friends and family, 25. You are getting busy. You are making phone calls. You're reaching out, building relationships. TV time, I don't know. And then obviously scheduling a visit. And you're going to have to choose wisely and make sure you try to get them to some big games. And you'll be able to pair up recruits to different visits, and you'll get bonus points for that. Now, some players are going to have a deal breaker requirement. You know, we just went over the grades and their interest level, right? So for example, this quarterback here, his deal breaker requirement is playing time. On the left side, it says that your school has a C+, and you need a B-. So because the deal breaker is active, he won't even talk to you. There's nothing you can do until we get into coaching abilities, because I feel like in coaching abilities, you'll have the option to maybe sway some things. Now, the deal breakers and the other things that are really important to these kids when they are at your school, so you get them, they're committed, they're on the team, maybe they're a freshman, you're going to be able to monitor guys currently on your roster to see if there's a risk of them transferring or not. So not only do you have to manage your roster and everything that you got going on, but you got to make sure that, hey, we're meeting these requirements to try to keep our players. And if a kid does end up leaving, you will have one more chance to convince them to stay. Now, something else I did notice too when recruiting a player is there's a thing called an active action. And underneath it, it says send the house. And that costs 50 minutes. You can take a guess at what send the house means. I'll take a guess. I'm thinking some money back, some NIL, even though maybe they're not saying that. That's what I'm going with. Hey, that's kind of sweet. Let's go all in. And I do believe after the season, the transfer portal window is going to be opening up, and there's going to be a lot of players in there that you can take a look at. Now, you do run the risk of upsetting your current players, so it's a tricky game that you got to play. But this is college football. This is some of the things you got to keep in mind season after season. Can you imagine being in an online Dynasty and one of your boys takes, like, I don't know, a promising young wide receiver that you were looking forward to using? Oh man, I'd be kind of mad. Now, if you guys played NCAA 14, the recruiting aspect, it is a major part of Dynasty mode for sure, for obvious reasons, right? I wouldn't say it's a whole of a lot different from the old game, but it is good to go over every individual thing that's included in Dynasty mode. That way, you won't be really confused on day one when you jump in there. Now, and I'm sure there's going to be options to sim certain things. So maybe if you're more of, you just want to jump on and play, recruit a couple of kids, not pay attention to a bunch of stuff, I'm sure there's going to be options that it's gonna like autopilot some things. But for everybody else, for year one of this brand new college football game, I love what we got. I'll take it. Now, when it comes to customization options, you are gonna be able to customize your own conference or any of the conferences that you want. You're even going to be able to take a team builder teams, I believe up to 16, and replace them with current teams that are in college football. But you have to do that before the season starts. Let your commissioner know, hey man, you know, pick this team. I'm gonna use my team builder team and replace it with it. And there you go. I mean, that'd be kind of sweet. Create some team builder teams, you and your buddies, and go make your own conference. Let's go. Now, when it comes to the coach, you're gonna start out as the head coach, offensive coordinator, or the defensive coordinator. And there's going to be 3 different types: tactician, recruiter, or motivator. All of these are going to have their own abilities and skill tree that's attached to them. So for example, in this video, they picked tactician, and on one of the first skills that they can get is it costs 5 coins, and that's not extra currency, guys. That's not real life currency. That's like in game, like that you earn. Okay, so don't freak out. But tier 1 is extra gear quarterback, so the quarterbacks get a boost to their toughness, stamina, and injury. All right, tier 2, icy veins. Quarterbacks start games with a composure boost. Tier 3 is put in work. Quarterbacks will get an off-season training boost. And then tier 4, locked in. Quarterbacks will start the 4th quarter hot in close games. So that's just an example of like the skill trees and how it relates to your players. And apparently no coach is great at recruiting across the board. Now coaches will specialize in specific position groups, making your staff that you put together that much more important. Are you a quarterback whisperer? Are you great in the trenches and committed to the no-fly zone? Yeah, so I absolutely love that. You know, if I'm the head coach and I'm picking my background and what I specialize in, having this skill will help me land some of the more top-tier offensive linemen in the country. That would be awesome. And apparently you can also build a multiple skill trees that will also lead into a more diverse skill set. So it kind of sounds like it's really just going to give your team more boosts. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the coaching carousel is back. One of the most fun things that was in NCAA 14 when you started off at a small school and you're just trying to work your way up, rather you start off as a coordinator or a head coach. There's always opportunities after every year. Well, I shouldn't say always. There's not always opportunities. It really depends on how you do at your position. Not only do you have to worry about yourself, but you also have to worry about your staff. And if they take a job somewhere else, you have to fill that position, just like real life. Every single coach has a unique skill tree. And the cool thing about the skill tree is whatever they have unlocked and whatever abilities they have, you can take yours, and if they match yours, you can stack them and have double the amount and just go crazy on whatever passing upgrades, running the ball upgrades you guys have. Or you can hire an assistant who might have different abilities or skill tree. That way you're covered in every area on your team. I've never really been too big on doing the whole skill tree thing when I played NCAA 14, but obviously we're going to get into it on this game. I certainly have more questions about it. I thought the Dynasty Deep Dive was very good. They showed a lot of the bowl games that are in there, customizing your conferences, and the coaching carousel is awesome. Oh, and note with the custom conferences is if you put a team in a different conference, the logo on your jersey and on the field will also change. I thought that was awesome. So that way you don't have to go in and do it manually by using a program. But yeah, I thought it was good. I know you guys got questions. Drop them down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. It was a long time waiting for this video right here, and I couldn't be more pumped up to play college football 25. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure you hit that sub button for me. I'll be back real soon with more content. So until then, I'll catch you later.